Okay. Appears to be working. Is this going to come up? Should be. I've already turned the speakers off because I don't need them right now. Yep, microphone's coming through. All appears to be healthy, which is good. Get it up on here so I can get the comments on the phone live. It'll probably be under there. No, it isn't apparently. I do not understand. Maybe it's because it's on past videos. Just, if I do this, it should bring it up. Just get it through here. There we go. Well, it's showing up. Showing up, but it doesn't want to load. Okay, now let's try. Well, there we go. So I've got it up here now. And I can get started if I can find somewhere to put that phone. Alright. This is my 2003 to 4 kind of Dell OEM board. There's a scratch. That's not ideal, but it is still nicer to eye on, and this is not the best keyboard I've got, but it's better than any of the others I used last time, as it should be. Yes, I did make a typo there, because Luke believes he's so perfect, and he isn't. Rightio. What can I add? Ah yes, he just got the assaulted by the bank robbing lawyers with guns, because, well, you would, wouldn't you? Anyway, what can I do? What can I add to it? I don't really know what I'm writing here. If it works, it works. Oh, this is so much nicer compared to that Viglen keyboard. Now I'm going to find the other part, which I was writing a bit earlier. Then I should be able to work on that. Finally, yeah, that's totally English. Finally. So we're going to need bold. If I can find where the bold is. Format text. There we go. It's a bit of a roundabout way of doing it, but I've done it. Now, yes, okay, so I approached the security device, which just so happened to be a cat piano, because it would be. There can only be one solution here. I said as if I'd already realised what the access code would be. Got me phone, Okay, let's see how everything's going. Wait. I thought it just recommended me like a video with the exact same CRT I'm using now. Wouldn't that have been something? This little 16-inch CRT, which is probably better than it has any right to be. I mean, it is HD. I've actually even got used to the lower refresh rate on it. Just having looked at it for so long. The Dell one was better, but this is what I'm using right now. It would have been fitting to actually have that. Dell was a black CRT as well, so it matches this keyboard. And this is kind of grey and light blue. I do like this colour scheme though. Naturally, yes, you would play Axel F on the cat piano to enter. She just somehow knows. And I've used a one quotation mark type. And what do you know? That was apparently how you unlock the reinforced cast iron gates. Well, that's pathetic. Did I use that? Yeah, I did. I need to use a different word because I've used that one just above. And I also need to space my paragraphs out correctly. I'm just thinking, there you go. I'm just noticing a lot of markers where I've not spelt things correctly. Can at least fix that now. Well, that's hopeless. All that money put into reinforcing, no, not reinforcing, into protecting the castle, and that's how they decide to secure it. Yeah, this keyboard is nice. And that's, as I say, it's not even the best keyboard I have got planned out today. It is just the starter board. It does have a volume dial though, and it works. So, I mean, that's always something. Even in Linux, like I've got here, not Windows, I'm amazed just how well that works. I'm also using it through an adapter to USB because I only have one PS2 on the PC, and it doesn't work if you reboot, unless you reboot to change the board. Thankfully, this does seem like it's better than the last Chinese converter I had, so it's able to power one of those Dell mechanical keyboards and everything, which the other one just gave up. I'm putting the mouse through it as well, actually, which I probably shouldn't be doing, but I am. Quite a nice mouse. It's a Octagen, I think. Yes, it's an Octagen, whatever that is. Never heard of a company before I bought that mouse cheap. But it's actually a very good mouse for feel. It's not bad at all. Like I don't know. It's not got the nicest click to it, but everything is just really comfortable. This mouse pad as well I got for 50p. I decided I'd use it. It's a really nice mouse pad actually. So yes, that's why I thought I had to use this mouse pad because it's just so perfect for this video. And that's how I decide to secure it. We may as well have used, I don't know, Windows, yes, because I don't want to use Windows. Everything has to be ridiculous knockoff brands, so Windows 96. I don't know. I thought of like XP, but how would I whip off XP? I guess I could call it PX. I mean, pardon stage. It's close enough without being the same thing. Or actually, I don't know, there's always XD as well. I think Windows XD is probably as good as I can do. So yeah, she's gonna speak too soon though in this. They met with the without a password. Because I think back in the Windows XP era you could just have your PC without a password. So anyone could log into it. I don't think they're the same with Windows 11. Like, I don't think I have one on my art PC, not sure how that happened, but I'm not complaining. Even though that is Windows 11. Because it's 8th gen, so I get the free update and it works perfectly. It's a i7-8700. This does not support Windows 11, which is why I've got Zorin on it, because it's a Core 2 Duo E8500, not 8600. The 8600 is like the dream processor, but they are more expensive than the 8500s, which you can basically find by the side of a road for almost the exact same thing, but just the version nobody wants of the 8600. Well, I want them, I like them, but not everyone does. I think the Core 2 Quad makes too much heat personally, especially for this kind of case where there's not great ventilation. The Core 2 Duo, a higher clock Core 2 Duo is pretty good. I have an i3 in this machine over here, so trying to point, but yeah, the screen overlay is on. So yeah, that's currently an i3, that's going to go for a single core Celeron one, and it's a Windows XP machine. But still, we're going to hopefully put this language together. Yes, you would auto-correct it to Windows XP. No, it's Windows XD. That is the actual name of the OS in this law. Just checking the chat on my phone. We've got to, yeah, as I was saying, yeah, Windows XD terminal. And what would you guess she saw as a second security level? Because they did secure that castle, but they just didn't secure it very well. Speaking of which, with overtly comical timing, Hiku discovered a Windows XD terminal. How about kind of in the most haunting grey? You have one of those CRTs, but not a colour CRT like I've got, like a 12-inch grayscale CRT with a really low refresh rate, like 50 Hertz or something. This one is 60 ATM, but you can get some. Like, what if it was just a really low-res television even? Like, quite large, say 20, for a CRT, 22 inches or something, but it's not actually a monitor, it's a television, so it just doesn't work very well as a monitor. I mean, yeah, this is just me being nerdy at the moment. I know in a lot of places you had to go with this kind of beige colour that's on this system here. I don't know what I'm looking at. I'm like looking over at that monitor, but that monitor is a completely different PC and it's not even on. Anyway, this case here, yeah, and all of its different materials, they had to go with more of a beige colour because in 2000, where that was made, I think there were actually laws against having black kind of peripherals and cases on your systems like this. This is black and silver, but as I say, this is 2003 to 4 when it was legal to do so. I have got a old Dell keyboard from the 90s which is black, but it's an American layout. I don't believe you could do with black in Europe, because as I say, it was slightly ridiculous of a law, but you couldn't use black in Europe. So the only way to get one of those Alps Dells in black is to get an AT101 that was imported from America or somewhere like that. Maybe other countries were attached to America had the same. I don't know. I think Canada is usually the same as Europe for laws, so they would have probably been in with a beige. Don't know about Mexico. Honestly, I feel like they would be more to the American side of things, but I really don't know. I'm no expert on these matters. I just know Europe and the UK particularly. It was kind of a very bizarre law where you couldn't use black on PC cases until, say, the early 2000s. I think 2001 or so, it's like black computers started to appear. This is a 2000, as I say, and the tree has moved. So yes. Anyway, the televisions are interesting though. I did once have a CRT before it failed. That was a year 2000 television, and that was black. UK model and everything, but it was black. And I mean, it wasn't a common thing at the time, but it did prove the one thing that you could have a black television, just not a black computer. What do you know? There was the weirdest terminal in all of human history. I cannot begin to decipher. I'm thinking actually, I don't know, were the 26-inch CRTs? I know we're 28 inches, so I think, yeah, just make it an unnecessarily huge monitor, which is only 480p or something. I think TVs were 800 by 600 before widescreen setting, and then they went to, I believe, 960 by 540, which stuck around for a while. Actually, a few smartphones around about 2010 to 11 used it, which is actually the same era as the components in that PC. The base I used, that's actually a late 2010, and the board I've put in is an early 2011, so you know, it's all about the same era. It's just a bit higher end with the new board. I say new, with the upgraded board, which also allows me to overclock the integrated graphics. Fun fact about certain Sandy Bridge processors there. And motherboards, rather. I cannot begin to decipher why they used a black 28-inch CRT TV as the monitor. The refresh rate combined with a resolution equipped for a tube of that size was, I need to put the low refresh rate, because I think most people will know a low refresh rate is bad, but like if I just put the refresh rate, it would possibly create some confusion. Ill-equipped for a tube of that size was, again remember 50 Hertz is essentially 50 frames per second, but 50 interlaced frames per second, which is basically, how do I describe it, is less sharp than the kind of progressive frame rates you get on like LCD, LED and OLED monitors, that the kind we have today in most places. Which this is not. This is a CRT I'm using currently because it's kind of a retro desk. Hence why I've also got a cream PC case, because it's a very much a retro assembly. The low refresh rate combined with a resolution ill-equipped for a tube of that size was sickening. No. I believe the familiar Windows XP theme is called Luna, so I'm going to call it the Loony theme. No less, I had to persist, which also sounds like a hard drive joke, with fighting the vague semblance of the Loony theme. Just put into like kind of single quotation marks as well, so people know I'm like referring to a theme and not, I don't know, part of Looney Tunes or whatever. The vague semblance of the Loony theme. Spreading blue across the elderly burnt in tube. Just also voice burning, it happens kind of to LCDs as well. I think you might call it image retention on an LCD type flat panel monitor, but burning is like where you have, say, an image on the screen, it's tolerable. Like, it's not to a point I'm going to buy a new tablet, because it's not bad enough to stop me using it. I'd eventually buy a new tablet, but I'm hoping they put an OLED on it at some point, because Samsung does make good OLEDs. Say what you will about burning, I've not had a Samsung OLED on a mobile device actually have burning. But as I say, that Samsung tablet I've got is a LCD, or probably LED backlit, which is another type of LCD. The elderly burnt in tube. Maybe I'll put smearing blue, because it just sounds a lot nastier, which is really appropriate for a machine that's not supposed to be very well put together. Now, should I give it a Viglin keyboard? No. Because of the bad keyboards, the Viglin keyboard was not good. No, I mean, it was not good, no, but it was not as bad as the others. Although, if I were to give it one of its modern Apple keyboards, and what with a dodgy Bluetooth connection, which just keeps disconnecting from a system that was never really meant to work with Bluetooth, because we're talking Windows XP era here, which is kind of before Bluetooth was a popular thing. I mean, we're talking about only around, say, mid-2000s did it start appearing on mobile phones, and Windows XP was originally 2001, I believe, so go figure. I laid my Hands up on the flat metal rimmed keyboard and dread. What's the opposite of nostalgia though? Because I want her to like know they're bad because she's had to use them in the past. Dreaded the past trauma of the, like, this is still set in the present day, but for some reason they have this really messy terminal. Hence why I can use a Bluetooth keyboard like that, because it is still set in the modern day, but it's just, why would you still be using an operating system that's out of support when that machine would, let's be honest, most likely support at least Windows 7? Because I've seen Pentium 4s running Windows 11 at a push, so, you know, even with Windows 11's ridiculous requirements, some people have still got it running on 2007 era Pentium 4s. And that's to say the Pentium 4, it's like, it's almost a meme how poorly designed those processors were. The Core 2 Duo that ultimately replaced it was a lot better. Maybe I should have the machine crashers. Oh yes, and then you see the forbidden sticker, Pentium D inside. Again, the Pentium D, Intel needed to make a... So what did they do? They basically taped two Pentium 4s together, which was already a bad processor. Yeah. And then graphics by Nvidia maybe, but it's like the GeForce 210. Again, a card that's so bad it has memes against it. Mainly because they sold that card far longer than they should have. It was okay when it first came out, but they were still selling it like 5 to 10 years later when that card was just so ill-equipped and it was getting beaten by built-in graphics on computers. I laid my hands upon the flat metal-rimmed keyboard and dreaded the past trauma of typing on such a poorly on a device of such poor ergonomics. Now, I do not want to stop using this keyboard. That's the only issue. Like, before, I was like, oh goody, time's up. Now I'm going to use another keyboard once I finish my sentence. It's not a case anymore. I just want to keep using this one. It's working well for me, so I want to keep using it. But alas, I cannot. Not forever. I mean, I'll do this for a bit more, but I'm going to have to change it out once I've finished writing a little more on it. And dreaded the past trauma of typing on a device of such poor ergonomics. You know what? I don't remember this keyboard being that good, though. I remember it being like one of my better keyboards, but I don't remember it actually being as nice as it is now. I remember it being kind of inaccurate when I was just playing around with it. It has delivered. I mean, it's doing better than I ever expected it to under my hands, which is something that I can say is a good thing. Anyway, yes, I was getting onto that also. The mouse, if you've not seen it, the Apple Puck mouse from the iMac G3 in the late 90s, I'm going to partner those with the modern Apple keyboards, like the worst of both sides of Apple. Because, you know, Apple makes better mice now than they did in that generation of iMac. And that's saying something, because I've never liked any of the Apple mice. But the new ones are better than the Pug. Yeah, this is in a different league, but it most likely won't go in most Macs because it's a PS2, unless you're using a converter like I am currently. But it's a nice keyboard and nice mouse I've got at the moment. What do you know? I think I might put some of my own experience of this PC over here in there. The power supply, it was a joke. Thankfully I had another TFX power supply, but the power supply that was in there, it looked like someone had glued carpet to the inside of it. There was that much dust, and the fan didn't spin, and somehow I managed to install Windows XP with it like that. Yes. That's the kind of first world problems I have to live with. Only it's not really a first world problem to expect your PC to just work. What do I have for PC CPU? Oh, it's on 71%, 82, I just saw it go up. But still, I think it's running fine, which is good. It's running as well as I remember it running. What do you know? The unitary... No, the unit of... The unit worthy of nothing beyond ridicule. No, I think this unit is probably a better way of wording it. This unit worthy of nothing beyond ridicule had glitched out graphically, then blue. I feel like I should have a really like badly worded version of the traditional Windows blue screen method. Well, no, not blue screen, green screened. Which is a joke, I'm sure, familiar to people who have worked with video for quite a bit. But anyway, what do you know? This unit worthy of nothing beyond ridicule glitched out graphically, then green screened on me. We're sorry. You have done a thing wrong and forced your computer to shut down. Yep. That is that is how it's written. We're sorry, you have done a thing wrong and forced your computer to shut down. It's just blaming you. Like, the Windows blue screen, or yeah, blue screen isn't that bad, but honestly, it's gonna hurt if you do nothing wrong and then the PC is immediately blaming you for the fact that it has crashed. I then looked down to the horrendously dusty metal box containing the computer and spotted something horrifying. Should I have a colon? I'm thinking actually, yeah, single, because it's not like someone directly speaking, it's just read off the screen, so I think the single quotation marks. Something horrifying. I feel like I need to change the name though from Pentium D, but for now I'm just going to get this written up. There we go. How about premium? I think putting premium D inside, it's close enough that I think people will see the link there. So how many letters are we talking about? Put in to yeah, so I think there's the same number of letters, which is going to help me out for getting this thing together and appearing like one. Anyway, I do think it's time to change out the board. So, for now, I'm going to just move this out of the way. Also, it's got some interesting little legs, one of them on each side. Also, I have apparently bought the audio memory. You go away. Audio memory, no, audio kind of features that. I think I pressed the music key and it did that. So just try and squish that down, and also I have accidentally typed. Now, good news at least, we have a glowing board. Yes, this is the only USB one. I think I might have put that in the description. This is the only USB board I will be using today. It is a Chinese board with cherry red switches. I think that's okay there, yes. You'll see it's very small, but I actually find once I got used to using the shortcuts and like using that for the arrows and stuff, it's actually not that bad. You just have to know how to use the shortcuts. I did used to hate it because of the layout, but as I got used to it and adapted to it, it really isn't too bad. Anyway, it's no Alps. I can just see that thing staring menacingly in the background. It doesn't light up, but oh man, I would rather type on that. Still, maybe it'll be like that Dell I just had. Maybe it'll surprise me as I start typing on it and I'll actually just not want to stop. Premium D inside. I feel like, how would I demonstrate that it's a GeForce 210? I think GT is enough, you know, to bring the joke across that it's just like a low-end card. Because if you know NVIDIA, there's like RTX and GTX, which are the higher-end cards, and then there is GT, which is typically the lower-end cards. I don't think there's ever been a GT assigned to a really high-end, top-of-the-line card. Okay, so that wasn't the worst part, though. Right below that was a sticker that I feel like I'm going to have to kind of retrain my brain to how to type on this. It isn't bad, but I feel I'm hitting too hard. It worked typing on the Dell that way. This is differently set up though. Like the keys, the mechanical key switches do just feel a lot softer. And I mean, that's the thing about mechanical keyboards. They're all fairly different from one another. Like, I don't like the sound of this as much as I like the sound of the Dell. The Dell is a lot more authoritarian in its like springy sound, and I like that. This is smoother, I'm not going to deny that, but it's just not my kind of ideal sound. I like a good clack. That wasn't the worst part though. Right below that was a sticker. Also, I think the case has something to do with it. Like, you see, it is stiff, like very stiff for a plastic case. May even have a metal plate down there, but it's not like a big chunky case like a lot of the older keyboards had. Right below that was a sticker that read, how about NVIDIA? Yeah, I'm gonna put NVIDIA because reasons. It just sounds like a spoof name. But I mean, you get the idea, it's supposed to represent NVIDIA. TT, no. How will I, like, I don't know. Ooh. I think there was an NVIDIA 100 series, sorry. But yes, my point is, if you see, like, if you see that, you're going to know it's a very old and not very powerful graphics card. How about I make it gold as well? A glazed golden glow. No, a sticker with a glazed golden glow to it. Reading where did I put my phone? Oh, there it is. Reading NVIDIA 100 series inside. This struck fear into my heart. I had all too many memories of that sticker on school computers, and none of them, no, I had too many memories of that sticker on school computers, and none of them were positive ones. This is going to sound ridiculous, but I think I prefer the Dell membrane keyboard to this mechanical one. It sounds completely crazy, but I really do think that. Dell used to make some really nice keyboards. They don't make near the same standard of keyboards now as they did in the, let's say, pre-2005 days. But, yeah, the fact that I would rather still be using that membrane keyboard than the mechanical says it all. This is not an awful keyboard, it's just not made to the same kind of feel. And I mean, I'm sure there's people who are actually like serious typists will be like, what are you saying? But I like that membrane keyboard. What more can I say about it? I'm not going to call this horrible. I would never think that about it. But it's just not as good. And it kind of hurts me saying that because I paid, like, I don't know, £1.50 or something for the Dell. And I paid a lot more for this, like £45 or something. Go figure. It embarrasses me that I spent so much money on this, so much more money on this keyboard, only for it to be worse. I may have even spent less on this new board than I did on the used Dell Alps, but I don't think I did. I think, because I bought that Dell 8 years ago, I don't think mechanical keyboards had really picked up to the same level they have now, in terms of popularity. There will always be mechanical keyboards which have long been worth money because they're like buckling springs or whatever, and people like them, and they have fond memories of them from the 1980s. But those Dells, I don't know. I don't think they were quite in the nostalgia period yet. Maybe now people will have some nostalgia for them, but not so much back then. I think I might have even won an auction and I was the only bidder or something. Because people just probably saw them as old keyboards back then. This, yes. I had all too many memories of that stick on school computers, and none of them were positive memories. Just to have to repeat. I have to repeat that word just to like clarify that I'm not talking about something else. Yeah. Nvidia. Let's check the cellular Android. Hello. Yes, so I had to use my other account because the phone was playing up accessing the stream on my regular account here. But that's just how it works. And anyway, yes, I was worried about a ridiculous terminal, the Windows XD terminal. Totally not Windows XP. Thankfully, yes. If you've used old computers, this will be familiar. If you don't know much about them. After a short wait of about 5 minutes, although to be fair it is Windows XP like kind of operating system, so it wouldn't be as heavy on hardware as something like Windows 10 or 11. Thankfully, after a short wait of about 5 minutes, the old terminal finally reached the login. I actually have this old 80GB hard drive and it just scrapes horrendously. So I'm going to include that because this is supposed to be a mess of a computer that they're using for security. Well, for a start, it green screened. That's not a good start. But we finally reached the login screen. That said, the continuous grinding noises that the hard drive appeared to be producing was disconcerting, to say the least. Okay, I do need to fix something here, it's telling me. No, I'm not going to put which. That said, but I could add another comma, I think, and that might help the overall wording of it. That said, the continuous grinding noises, I don't think I need that. The continuous grinding noises the hard drive appeared to be producing was disconcerting, to say the least. To the phone. Yay! More comments. I do have my Alps Dell here as well. I just might as well say that. This monster. That's going to be the last keyboard I'm using. Ah, that is lovely. I'm so looking forward to it. But for now, I've got this little mechanical keyboard. I mean, it has the one ability to light up. This one I had before was very nice. Not a mechanical, but it's still a very nice board. Have very fond memories of using it already. And I've only really used it just then, for the first time in a while. Yes, the continuous grinding noises the hardware appeared to produce was disconcerting to say the least. Well, here goes nothing. I said, slightly holding my breath as not to breathe in the ocean of dust contained within the I don't know. I've put browning enclosure because things tend to go that colour when they rust, but I think I could put it in a better way. Contained within the contained within the corroded once silver enclosure, because a lot of metal is silver, especially if we're looking at a PC with a Pentium D. Like, silver was fashionable then, around about 2005, maybe 6. Silver was still kind of the fashionable colour. If you look at a lot of older CRT televisions from that kind of time period, you'll most likely see silver. There were some flat panel displays as well around that era that were silver, and then eventually things did move to being black. And I think eventually glossy black is kind of the in thing now. I know cars actually do tend to have this thing they call piano black, but it's just basically a fingerprint magnet. It's the one place where like matte black is better. Matte black, like my Dell. Yes. I mean, that board is... Actually, that's from a similar time period to the song I just covered. 2003 to 4, yes, and the song was 2003. I've only just realised that. I can't believe it took me so long to, like, connect the dots. But now, alas, I finally have. I think I need a comma here, slightly holding my breath. And another comma, as not to breathe in the ocean of dust contained within the corroded, once silver enclosure. Maybe a semicolon here, because it's like, I feel like you need a bigger breath. So, like, I believe a semicolon is like between a comma and a full stop, if I'm remembering correctly. And I might as well check the comments on here. Ooh, so I think as we get to say 10 past 7 on here, it's now 6:52. I believe I'll change the keyboard somewhere around that point. I am enjoying this keyboard. I just enjoyed the membrane Dell a bit more. And why is the caps lock on? At least the caps lock light works. The crazy setup I had with my art PC for a time, I didn't even have a working caps lock light. And then you see this old piece of junk streaming in 1080p just fine, and like everything's working. I mean, it looks older than it is. The hardware, actual hardware inside it is from like 2008 to 9. Now, this optical drive, I bought it never worked for me until I just put it in here a few days ago, this month actually, and it worked perfectly. No idea what was going on there. It's just a Christmas miracle, I guess. No big deal. It did save me, what, £12 or whatever it would cost to buy a new optical drive, though, to fill that gap. So I'm happy now. This, I love this CRT. Ah, yes. If I do stream tomorrow, which I probably will, for my another 4 keyboards that I have, then I will use the Diamondtron I'm getting. Yay! Christmas Diamondtron! Probably use the same resolution though, because I don't want to overload this old processor trying to stream more than it can realistically handle. Thankfully, it's not going to take a whole lot to get it working because, you know, the monitor isn't like changing the internal hardware of a PC. As not to breathe in the ocean of dust contained within the corroded once silver enclosure. What else can I put now? Oh yes, here goes nothing. Well, no, you can't just use a Apple Puck mouse, because remember, this PC is terrible, and those mice are like the worst mice I've ever seen. I can say that without even using it. Someone did once make like a video on an Apple G3, and they were like, "This mouse is the most awful thing I've ever used." Apple just has a history of making awful mice, and I think the Puck from the late 90s is the very worst of them all. Which is precisely why I want to buy one, because it's so comically bad. I even put that in the description of my terrible keyboards video. Like, that's the only thing I don't have, a terrible Puck mouse to go with my terrible keyboards. So I had to make do with a HP instead, which really isn't near as awful. Okay, as not to breathe in the ocean of dust contained within the corroded once silver enclosure. I attempted to around. I'm honestly not sure if Apple owns like copyright to that name of the Puck mouse. I don't think they do. But I could easily just describe it as a Puck-shaped mouse. And it's going to be a pink one, naturally, because you're trying to make the PC look stupid. Why not just give it the most ridiculous colour imaginable that doesn't match any other part of the PC? Like, most of it is silver, but that mouse is going to be bright pink. The bright pink translucent circular mouse. I mean, it's not the most descriptive, but the mouse, if you've ever seen them, they are just circles. Like this, it's actually got some nice moulding. You'll see, like it's like that kind of shape with some kind of. I think the word is recessed for your like finger to go into. The Apple mouse, no. It's just like, you're going to use a mouse like this. Like, how do you even... I don't know. And that just makes me want it even more because of how comically bad it is. And that's the thing, I don't even want an iMac G3. I just want the awful mouse they came with. Because it's just so much of a joke. I attempted to wrap my hand around the pink translucent circular mouse. Yet I need some commas. Pink translucent circular mouse. Much better phrasing there. I regretted it already. I regretted it already, but I remained certain that my In fact, my persistence would be for the greater. Another story about Apple computers, actually. They had a G5 iMac at the old school, and they had a one of those newer flat Apple keyboards with it. They also had a white one, which I'm assuming is the one that came with that desktop. And, you know, I used that one instead of the one that was normally there. And I was like, wait, Apple can actually make decent keyboards? Why don't they make decent keyboards then? Why are they just making all these flat ones when they've proven themselves that in past years they could make good keyboards? It made absolutely no sense to me. I wasn't complaining because I had a much better keyboard underneath my hands, but it was absolutely crazy. The thing is, Apple doesn't seem to be accepting of the fact that some things in the PC space are just done because they make sense. There's no point in trying something a different way just for the sake of it being different when it's no better. Thankfully, Apple just uses USB connections now. They don't use any like weird keyboard connectors, so you can just plug any computer keyboard into a Mac and it should work. The Windows key will become a command key and it won't function as a Windows key, but you know, it's only the same as Linux. You know, Linux doesn't have quite the same setup as Windows. It doesn't have a Windows key per se. I guess you could call it a Linux key, and it's like it opens a start menu in the same way, but it just, you wouldn't call it a Windows key because it's not Windows kind of thing. Time to check the Samsung phone. I need to wait. So it's 7 now. A few more minutes with this keyboard, and then I will move on to a kind of cream coloured one I've got here, which, as I believe I put in the description, that one is somewhere around 2000 to 2009. I found someone on eBay selling one and they said it's from about that time. I don't know exactly what year it's from. It's got Windows XP keys, so I'm guessing it's 2001 onwards because of that. They had older style keys for older versions of Windows, but that's just a guess. I mean, someone said 2000 to 2009. I have to just go with that. It sounds about correct. If it was later than about 2005, it would probably be USB. So I'm guessing my particular board is 2001 to 2005, but I really don't know. That's just an educated guess. Yes. Okay, with the yes. No, it needs to be something really ridiculous as a picture. Because, you know, Windows XP allows you to have, like, this login picture on the screen. So, I don't know, you could have a tree or something as long as it's the correct resolution to, like, fit and the correct format and stuff. But what would I have? I know, like, having a picture of a dog or a cat is fairly typical. But oh yes. What if like the PC is essentially just tormenting her with a picture of the mouse that she just has to suffer with trying to use? Now that is perfect. I clicked on the image. Also, yeah, it's like maybe that's why Apple designed the mouse that way, so it can fit on like the login screen in a perfect square or circle or whatever. Oh no. getting into it, it's just too perfect as well, because not only does it torment her, it's the perfect size to fit in that like little login square on my version of Windows XP. I clicked on the image of that hideous pink. Yeah, in case you can't tell, she doesn't like the mouse. I clicked on the image of that hideous pink mouse, and surprisingly enough, they actually have a password. Maybe I should have another companion actually does something, because I don't know, he's not said much in the last few lines, so he's going to be correct. Like, he's just going to say like a few words, and then what do you know, he's correct. It's going to be password. As I said last time, the Crazer is a stupid name, but it sounds like something a 12-year-old would make up and think it sounds cool, so I just kept it that way. Because if he's using like a fake identity, the same way the main character here is actually, she's not a Gnafer, she just committed identity theft. That's like the entire story. We never know her real name. We just know that the name she's using. And she's like, hey, there's no ABBA in this world. What can they do? And it's trying to auto-correct the name. The Crazer said, nonchalantly. Needless to say, he was completely correct. Should I have a Back to the Future reference? They found me. I don't know how, but they found. Ooh, what if that was actually just on the like login screen, like the background? I think that would be pretty funny. Needless to say, he was completely correct. I must say I was slightly haunted by what I saw as the wallpaper. Oh, I've just realised they're using a CRT television. I mean, you can't fit much kind of information on an 800 by 600 resolution display. That's the issue here. Because the idea is it's a 28-inch CRT with quite a low resolution. And I've done that because I want it to just look bad. Like, this is not a well set up terminal. They're using an operating system that's far out of date. Like, even if you have a Pentium D, you can probably run Windows 10 in some way, shape or form. But they're using Windows XD instead. I don't know when they put it out of support. I think it was like 2015 to 17, somewhere around there. I think actual Windows XP went out of support. So you get the idea. It's been out of support for a few years now. They extended support because people didn't like Vista, I believe. So if it weren't for that, it would have been ended a lot sooner. Thing is, I had a Vista machine, but I had it when Service Pack 2 was already out, and that machine was actually really stable and solid. And that was where the joke came in that old song, Windows Vista on my PC all the way. Because I used Vista. I'm like, I don't care what anyone else says. I like Vista. It is the best looking Windows version, in my opinion, at least. It's not the best version of Windows. I'm not going to pretend it is, but I bought that machine because I knew it would get Vista would actually get support longer than XP. Because for that kind of price, I had a choice between either Vista or XP, and I said, well, I'm going to get a Vista PC because I know it will just work for longer without me having to buy a key. Because the key was already on there for Vista. I mean, I paid £40 for that system. Even when I bought it, it wasn't that good, but I got an overall good system out of it. It was a Core 2 Duo E7400, and then this is an E8500. So, like, the next model year, and it's still streaming in 1080p, so hopefully that gives you an idea. I had that system like 10 years ago, and it was really quite good for what it was. The motherboard even lives on in the black PC I've got here, this one I call a scrap rig. I thought the board was dead, put the Celeron in it, it worked perfectly. Now, I will be changing the keyboard soon. I was slightly haunted by what I saw as a wallpaper though. What if the wallpaper just says help me? That would be scary in its own way. And what background should I use? I think I need something that contrasts with red. So I don't know. Black, I think, yeah. It's a CRT, so it'll actually render blacks quite well. There was just dead black with a couple of words which appeared to have been written over it in... Now we don't have Microsoft Paint. What knockoff can we have, I wonder? In instead of Microsoft first, what can I have? Microloft. I don't know, that's the best I've got. See if anyone has commented ideas for my ridiculous version of Microsoft Paint. Nope. Okay, it's Microloft. I think, well, I would say Draw, but I believe that is actually a program in Linux, in one of the Linux distros. Something Draw. I don't know, GNU Draw or something. What else can I have? Microloft. Quaint. I don't know. Quaint, just completely different meaning though. Squall. Scribble, yes, it's going to be called Scribble. Because that's what most people do in Microsoft Paint, let's be honest. Which appear to have been... Yeah, I think I just need added. Added in Microloft Scribble. Yeah, this arrow key solution isn't the best using function keys and... Alright, I've done it. I was just getting confused. Help me. with a couple of luminescent red crimson even. Help me. Now I was confused beyond reason. It could have been literally anything else, but why did it say help me? Also, this is the Demon Lord's castle, kind of, that she's gained access to. But why does it just have help me on, like, the terminal here? Oh yes, Bonsai Buddy as well. It needs Bonsai Buddy because it was like spyware. So it kind of makes sense why them is crashing. The more I looked, the worse it got. To think that these lunatics actually Bamboo Buddy. Yeah, Bamboo Buddy is the knockoff version. Voluntarily why in the world would you install a scam on your own? Now, installing a scam, it doesn't sound quite right, but I'm pretty sure it was spyware, so install spyware on your own computer. Why in the world would you knowingly install spyware on your own computer? And I need a question mark. And that also means it's time to change my keyboard. Thankfully it's being small, I can probably just stick it up here beneath the monitor and that should be okay. I mean, I'll unplug it as well so it doesn't get in the way. I do need to use my PS2 converter here, so there we go. I mean, actually, now I think of it, I do have that there. Now it's out of the way. Time to bring out the Microsoft, what's it called? Basic Keyboard 1.0A. PS2 end on here, as you would probably expect from me at this point. The other one was USB-C even, so you know, it's quite modern, that one, compared to this. Hopefully this brings back the good memories I had with that Dell. Are you recording? That's done. Anyway, yes, hopefully this brings back the good memories I had of the old Dell unit. It does match the PC fairly well, not perfectly, but you know, well, I guess to an extent the black ones did, because I've tried to make this look like fairly accurate. That floppy drive is the only thing that was actually in the case to begin with. It had a CD reader and I've replaced that. It actually had a CD reader from 2005, so not sure what happened there, but that's the DVD writer in a similar colour to the case. And then I have a 2007 DVD reader, CD writer, from a Pentium 4 machine. That's the modern one I said before. And then that floppy drive, I think it's from a different Pentium 4 machine. So yes, a lot of stuff has just been nicked from other machines for it. And anyway, what have I got? Going on about Bamboo Buddy. PC. Yeah, I also apparently deleted something, which isn't ideal. I do already like the feel of this. I used them a lot in school actually, just slightly different colour but same basic board. I like this colour a bit more though, I think. Other than this nasty kind of scar it's got. And some weird yellow. It's got like a spot of yellow in the scar. Probably infected, I don't know. Yeah, I can't really change that. It's a change bygone to go, but it's kind of a feature of the writing as opposed to a mistake. No less, the inner door then opened itself, most likely because this computer was so overloaded with viruses and spyware that it couldn't process a simple door opening request in due time. Yes, I need a comma after no less. No less, the inner door then opened itself. Most likely because this computer was so overloaded with virus and spyware that it couldn't process a simple door opening request. Or no, actually, that it could barely. Yeah, it's just to streamline the writing a little. Actually, is OBS running fine? Yeah. Stuff just seemed to have moved around, so you know. Just making sure it's all working. We have to, yes, do a bit more writing. But also, I have the other side of a story. I like the idea, though, that I've come up with, that they both kind of subconsciously know what each other's doing at any moment. Now, yeah, so we have the supposed demon lord is able to fly because she has this like summoning guitar that was actually supposed to go to the hero, or Luke, if you can even call him a hero with how bad a person he is. Yeah, he has not got that ability. She also got what's essentially the ring from Lord of the Rings, because she always just seems to get this stuff, even though she's supposed to be the demon lord. The coding was just like kind of messed up, so she ends up getting all the good stuff and he's just left with nothing. And we can laugh about it because you don't want him having the power anyway. Even though he's supposedly the hero, he is not worthy of that name. I had a job entrusted to me and I had to see it through until the bitter end. It was at that moment that I swore to storm the demon castle at any cost. As if he's going to be lucky with that. Like, you've just seen what kind of computer awaits, if you can even get past the first stage, which is a cat piano. Just go back up. Where is it? The first event. So it's not that one. Yeah. So where was it? Yeah. Ah, there we go. I approached a security device, which just so happened to be a cat piano. There can be only one solution here, I said, as if I'd already realised what the access code would be. Naturally, I played Axel F on the board, and what you know, that was apparently how you unlock the reinforced cast iron gates. So yes, the cat piano is a security device. I mean, I had to do that, but I couldn't work out what song until recently that just seemed why. Like, it seems like the kind of quirky thing that she would just play when she sees it. And then it's kind of like, as I say, the idea is that she is supposed to be the Demon Lord, so that part of the world would basically be set up around her. And I don't know, Luke is just like meandering around trying to kill her and failing at every possible chance he gets. Like, even the people who were supposed to, who he wanted to take out, he couldn't do it, but Nathan did it without any issues whatsoever. So yeah, I feel like I do need it to mentally grate on him and make his life, like, kind of build up in his head, because he believes everything he does is always right. So all this stuff is going to build up, and when something goes wrong, he's going to try and find a way it's not his fault. Like he did when he said, those people didn't follow me, they're all cowards, something like that. He doesn't accept when he's done something wrong or when he's too weak. He's not good at, like, accepting his own character flaws. Ah, yes. Sorry, the comments are now working. They won't be work. Micro word. The problem is, it's Microsoft, so it needs, like, Microloft, I don't know. Micro word is good if you're looking for, like, a word replacement, but it's not Microsoft Word in this case, it's Paint. But you know, I might reuse that at some point, because I like my fake brands. Anyway, it was that moment I swore to storm the demon castle at any cost. I feel like maybe he knows he has to get stronger, but he thinks of the most ridiculous thing ever. Now, before I did he had this, like, chat.mp3 program on his phone, and he was believing everything it said to be the truth, and it told him that Agnetha is like some deranged cookie thief who goes stealing cookies off old ladies. It was not true at all. To be honest, she has far better things to do than go stealing cookies. But I've had this thing I've wanted to add for a while, where he kind of, like, rebounds and he becomes the cookie thief. He becomes the very thing he despised and, like, starts stealing cookies, probably thinking they make him stronger or something. So how do I add this? This was going to be no meager feat. I'd have to get stronger somehow, especially since Agnetha is using her mind tricks to rally people to her side. Well, she's not using mind tricks, she just knows how to treat someone properly, but he can't accept that. He believes she's this, like, evil, manipulative person because, again, he believes all these stories he saw that say the Demon Lord is evil. He can't accept people as an individual if they are the Demon Lord, and that therefore they have to be evil because that aligns with what's in his head. Naturally, I called upon the... The good thing about how I'm writing this, though, it's just even if AI tanks and completely, like, destroys itself, it'll still be funny. Because, you know, there's always those people who believe everything AI says or does. And they kind of won't accept that it's just a computer spitting out rainbow vomit to appease the user. And it's not always correct. In fact, quite a lot of the time it isn't correct. Like when Bing told me to break into Hatsune Miku's apartment because it was just vomiting out information off fan fiction sites. Also, LEDs apparently make your computer more powerful. So, yeah, forget putting an Intel i7 in there instead of an i3. It doesn't matter. Just get an i3 and put loads of Christmas tree lights in and you'll have the most powerful gaming PC ever. After all, AI would not lie to me. Naturally, I called upon the assistance of AI. Also, the program takes up 300 gigabytes of his phone's storage. And it's all just language packs. Some for languages which don't even exist on this planet. But he had to download them all. It's like forced into this poorly engineered piece of software. Naturally, I called upon the assistance of AI and drew up Chat MP3, no, and brought up yeah, also Chat MP3 is it only talks, like it doesn't bring up text answers. So you have to listen very carefully to what it says, or you will have no idea what it says. Poorly designed piece of software, that's for sure. Okay, I do like this keyboard, I'm going to say that now. Like, I had a mechanical keyboard, and the weirdest thing is, of all the ones I've used today, I think this is probably the nicest of them, but the Dell is also very good. It's very hard for me to choose a favourite between this and the Dell. Mind you, they are both membrane rubber dome keyboards, so they're pretty close, but they're both good membrane keyboards. Because there's two types. There's good ones that have like fairly nice feel and stuff, and then there's those that aren't so good. And that, like as I said before, with that Microsoft one I had before, that just had the wrong amount of travel. The keys were misshapen in a way that was not very pleasant. This is good. This has like nice curve to the keys there, so it like even if you slightly miss a key, it kind of pulls your finger back down. Very important feature there. It also has quite a bit of key travel, so if you smack the key down, it just works. It doesn't work badly. The other Microsoft keyboard, it had a bit of key travel, but not enough. So it was like in this really weird middle zone between a keyboard without enough travel and a keyboard with enough travel. It was just this really awkward middle zone. At least the ones without much travel, you can just hit the keys very gently and kind of get it to work. That keyboard didn't have any of that. There was no correct way to hit the keys on that. Naturally, I called upon the assistance of AI and brought up Chat MP3 on my... Oh, he had a stupidly long phone name. I'm not going to say it all. I made fun of like all these high-end smartphones with stupid names, and I made it even more stupid. I mean, I'd have to look all the way up the story to find it now, but rest assured the name is as stupid as it should be. Naturally, I called upon the assistance of AI and brought up Chat MP3 on my phone. I'm losing against the Demon Lord. I feel it would be funny as well if it misunderstands him. Like, I know it's not as bad nowadays as it used to be, but you know, there's always those cases where you say something and it just thinks you say something completely different. I'm losing against the Demon Lord. What can I do? No, I need a question mark. Yeah, that was my fault, not the keyboards that I was messing up there. I'm losing against the Demon Lord. What can I do? I said as clearly as I possibly could. I'm losing against the Demon Lord. What can I do? I said as clearly as I possibly could. And what can you do? I wonder. So then the phone told me that it was providing results for I'm losing against my I need something instead of Demon Lord, something far more ridiculous. I think it needs to rhyme. I think that's a thing. It needs to rhyme. So instead of Demon Lord, I'm losing against my Fortnite. Yes. I'm losing against this Fortnite dude. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't quite fit, but then it doesn't have to. So yes, I'm losing against a Demon Lord. What can I do? I'm losing against that Yeah, I think that Fortnite dude works a little better. It flows a little better. I'm losing against that Fortnite dude. I need a poo. Yes. I mean, he didn't say that, but no, it should be providing a result for. I'm losing against that Fortnite dude. I need a poo. That's totally what he said, according to the AI. It was slightly wrong, but after all, we need to be forgiving towards our future overlords. And that's funny because like he's busy trying to defeat this Demon Lord overlord, but like he's willing to perfectly surrender to this supposed AI and let that be his overlord. Double standards, if you ask me. Anyway, it actually gave me, and he's going to believe this is really good advice. It actually gave me some really good advice. It actually gave me some really good advice. I'm beginning to think this AI may have an obsession with cookies. If I were you, I'd go and steal all of the... Remember, this is not Fortnite advice, but the AI doesn't know that. So someone makes a joke on Reddit and it's going to seem to think it's the most reputable advice ever. If I were you, I'd go and steal all of the cookies in the palace. No, not palace. It has to be something that he can follow in the world. Because you could say there's a Fortnite world, so game world, but still. If I were you, I'd go and steal all of the cookies in the world. A man who has ingested plenty of cookies is bound to be able to overcome any foe, including his own desires to use the toilet. I think I do need like quotation marks. No, it is chat MP3 member, so it is speaking, so that's why I'm using double quotation marks. It's not a person, but I think it's close enough in terms of like interfacing with him in that way that it works. Yes, so he's going to become the cookie thief. He's going to become the very thing that he once despised, because it was like supposedly something the Demon Lord was doing. But it's really the AI leading him on this ridiculous, like, never-ending Easter egg trail with no Easter eggs. Including his own desires to use a toilet. That was it. All this time, and I didn't realise that I had to steal all of the world's cookies in order to level up. In hindsight, it was so obvious. In hindsight, it was so obvious. Now, I'll finally have my revenge on all of those losers who told me that there's no such thing as a cookie thief. Oh no. Those elderly ladies, those bakers, and those children with lemonade stands. Why he's targeting lemonade stands now, I don't know, but it seems funny, so I'm going to keep it. And those children with lemonade stands, well, all pay for their prior wrong doings. Yes, because sure, kids with lemonade stands have done a lot of prior wrongdoings, I'm sure. And as you see now, I am moving this board down because it is time. I say, Alps. Alps. Oh, I'm so looking forward to this. So good to dig this thing out. Okay. It's working. Kind of. Alright. I don't know if this is working, but I'm going to have to just go around here, and I'm going to use the USB adapter. Shouldn't take too long. So I'm going to just pull this up and pull this around. Well, the CRT is making a lot of heat, but alas, you are going in here, and then hopefully this should just work. I mean, it's a bit of an inconvenience, I must say, but look, I don't know why this isn't working. I'll be honest here, I don't know why. I guess I'll have